G4 is shutting down less than a year after relaunching in a surprise. That doesn't surprise anybody. It took just about 11 months after it launched. And for those of you who weren't too familiar with this, maybe you're younger and you don't remember the old days. Basically, G4 was like a TV series way back in the day, and it was like the hub. It was so cool. There were constant like gaming trailers and updates and everything. It was before like IGN and YouTubers really became mainstream and were like the go-to place for gaming news and journalism and things. And it was fun. It was everybody's dream to get there and to work there. Jeff Keighley was on there for a while. It was like the place to be. And now, like, I think in general, the community has just kind of grown out of it. It's just not really relevant anymore. I don't think you need a G4 in the modern day, but they tried to bring it back. Comcast brought it back, and they threw millions and millions and millions of dollars at it. And it didn't work for a bunch of reasons. As you see here, quote, a memo sent from Dave Scott, the CEO of Comcast's Spectacor division. What? They mean I don't know. Said the new G4 didn't attract enough viewers and the network didn't make enough money. It's absolutely true. Their videos, they were putting out 1 to 2 a day, and they were averaging like 10 to 20,000 views, which for a small YouTuber is great. When you have 35 employees or 40 employees, or in this case, a few dozen, so like at least 36 employees, and tons of contract workers currently there, that doesn't work. Like, that's probably, if I'm being honest, not enough for a person to actually make a living on, if that's all they're doing. Like, one person making a living. So for a whole TV network that has millions of dollars in overhead, huge studios, lighting, cameras that they're financed on or leasing, like, that, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Scott said in the memo to staff, quote, viewership is low and the network has not achieved sustainable financial results. This is certainly not what we had hoped for, and as a result, we have made the very difficult decision to discontinue G4's operations effective immediately. Yeah, back in the day, it launched on 2002 from NBC Universal and Dish Network and featured a range of hosts like Olivia Munn, Kevin Pereira, Chris Hardwick, among others. The first iteration of G4 shut down in 2014 before plans were announced in 2020 to revive the network once again. The reason it shut down back then, again, was because stuff just, the internet personalities were taking over, and they didn't really, I don't think a place like G4 could reasonably compete with the sheer number of YouTubers and streamers and stuff that are able to do it. And plus the big corporate, situation doesn't really work too well. One of the new hosts that they brought in, Froskuren, also known as Frosk, who departed the network a few weeks ago, listed off some of the affected G4 staffers on Twitter. They are prime candidates for new roles at other companies, she said, and tagged a bunch of people that have left and now are going elsewhere. Frosk is somebody that has been roundly mocked after her time at G4. I'll be honest, I had never heard of her before that whole debacle, and I still don't really understand what she does or who she is. I just don't understand it. Apparently streams occasionally 2 months ago. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But basically what happened is she went on and bashed a bunch of gamers, said that they were, gamers are sexist, and it just isn't a good look. Like, is there a problem with sort of regularized, promoted sexism in the gaming industry? Maybe. I think, like, you could make a decent argument, I think, especially when you look at how some people, like, at least on Twitter, which is never a good example of anything, react to, like, say, Ellie being a lesbian confirmed in The Last of Us Part 2. Some of the stuff people were saying was unbelievable. Like, they're proudly saying it publicly. Even some huge YouTubers, like The Quartering, the fact that they have a platform is amazing. And he covers a lot of gaming and pop culture stuff. So I get that. The problem is, you just never bash your audience. Like, it just doesn't work. It's, if you bash your audience and then you say, and if you don't like what I'm saying, then stop watching. okay, you shouldn't be surprised when they leave, you know? Like that's as simple as it is. And that's what inevitably happened is they left and the viewers stopped watching. And you can see, if you go back on G4's YouTube channel, you can see like 100,000 views, 150,000 views, and then you see her rant, which now they've deleted. You can't find it on G4's official platform. It's been mirrored everywhere, but they deleted it, distanced themselves from her because they realized that's all anybody knew G4 for was, oh, they're the ones that like bash gamers and think that all gamers are sexist and stuff, because they promoted Frosk and everything that she was saying. And it just slowly ticked down until eventually they landed where they are now, where they're getting less views than, like, in some cases, less views than we get on this secondary clips channel. Like, this channel is a few months old. We're just getting started on this channel. And, like, people, you know, with millions of dollars and dozens of employees aren't competing with it. It's just amazing to me. But they got booted out and they got pushed out. I think it's just what happens when you kind of sit in a bubble, and also when somebody is like, nobody will listen to feedback, because all you need is one like hard ass boss who looks at the list and the like docket for the day and what's going to go up on the live stream. And then it's like, wait, Frosk rants about sexism in the industry. Okay, maybe like, are people watching us for those discussions, or are they watching us for like feel good gaming entertainment? Like, it's the same thing. Like, I can have really strong opinions on politics or financial policy or ethics and morality, religion. I can have opinions on all of that stuff, but that's not why you guys are here. Let's be completely honest. You don't give a shit. You shouldn't. Like, I'm some moron who makes gaming videos. Okay. Like, if you want to hear my opinion on stuff in the right context, I'm more than happy to talk about it. I'm not afraid of that. I have no opposition to it, but like, to pass it off as like my main, like, as if you should care, is just insane to me. And that's kind of what this came off with Frosk, is like, she does this big rant and everybody's like, who asked? Like, we're good. Like, what you're saying isn't even that necessarily controversial, but the fact that you're lecturing everybody like a school teacher yelling at kindergartners was part of what turned everybody off. And I think if the rest of the panel had been like, okay, calm down, you know, if they had been like kind of jokey with it, I don't think it would have been a big deal. But what was Adam, is it Adam Sessler? He's the like the other guy that was on the, I think it's Adam Sessler, but he said that like the Frosk grant was one of the best moments of his entire career, and he was extremely proud to have been there for it. Like, just hilariously simpy. Like, it was just bad. It was just bad. So all told, G4 is shut down. Everybody that was working there has lost their jobs, and you know, nobody should celebrate the unemployment of anybody unless they truly deserve it. Of course, in that case, you can laugh. You know, like, I had some bosses back in the day. If they had gotten fired, I wouldn't be like, well, let's maintain a solemn disposition. I would have been like, yeah, suck it, loser. But in this case, you know, these people, I'm sure, worked their asses off and really tried to make something great. And for many reasons, most of which were out of their control, they just couldn't nail it. Like, they couldn't figure it out, and they couldn't make it happen. And you know, I wish them the best, but it does just go to show, like, I think in large part, all of this does land on Frosk. Like, it's pretty clear her rant, you can see in the numbers, at that point, the viewership started dropping. Because she asked, if you don't like what I'm saying, and if you think that I'm wrong for bringing this up or whatever, then don't watch. And people were like, I want to watch gaming content. I don't want to watch and be lectured. So they just stopped watching, went elsewhere, and slowly but surely, you know, it tanked until all these people lost their jobs. So yeah, I'm glad she's at least trying to help them a little bit, but I would say that a lot of this probably lands on Miss Frosk, unfortunately for everybody else. But that's the end of G4. I don't think they're bringing it back after this. I think that's the end of it.